What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back with some Destiny 2 updates for one of the first times this year, and we get a quick preview of the TWAB for this week. It looks like there could be some interesting bits there in Bungie's first update of the year, but we also get a look at the new community emblem, clarification on 30th anniversary content vaulting, as well as some extra feedback from Bungie on a few items, and the first update for the game in 2022. So guys, I hope you enjoy the video as always, and if you do, a rating below really supports the channel. But getting into it, we know that Bungie are going to have their first TWAB of the year this week, and DMG tweeted that for the first time, new community manager at Bungie, Liana, is going to be writing the TWAB. And so she tweeted a quick preview, and she said they'll clarify some 30th anniversary content inquiries, but also they'll be talking about armor and pondering orbs. So I'm not sure if that could potentially be a change that we'll see in the Witch Queen timeline, but also talking more about what's to come in February, and at least 2 or 3 cringeworthy dad jokes. And so while we shouldn't necessarily anticipate a massive TWAB, it looks like a couple of especially interesting items could center around armor and some of the content for February, so stay tuned here on the channel and I'll keep you posted. But also last week, Bungie spoke about adding a community emblem to the game in recognition of players who've been helping New Lights in Dares of Eternity. But to get access to it, they say simply complete the activity between now and January 18th to earn the special Circumflex Diacratic emblem, and distribution will take place at a later date. And we can see the emblem right there, with the 9 vendor logo and icon in the background. Give us any thoughts you have about it down below. And yes, we don't particularly have to do anything special, it's simply play the activity. But nonetheless, it's neat to get a preview of that. Up next though, this week we also got the first hotfix for the game for 2022, and the update did bring a few changes and fixes. So initially for Dares of Eternity, they lowered the recommended power level to 1100, but they also fixed an issue where players could be auto-launched into Dares of Eternity before acquiring a heavy weapon, which of course is associated with those new light players being thrown into the activity, as well as a couple of other fixes for it. But then for Presage, they fixed an issue preventing players from interacting with datapads within the exotic mission, and datapads and their connected compartments and chests must be accessed in order as players move through the Glycon. But in addition to the fix, they say the weekly lockout for earning lorebook pages for Presage completions was removed, and players can now earn 1 lorebook page per activity completion without any weekly lockout, and this should allow players to finish the lorebook in the time remaining before the Witch Queen launches. Then for weapons, they say they've added guaranteed drops of Dreaming City weapons from completing the Blind Well event. I swear that's a change they'd already implemented. But they also fixed a problem where Forerunner's Catalyst was missing a description string when viewed in the exotic Catalyst menu, a problem where Forerunner would spawn with 11 ammo in PvP when running Sidearm Reserves, and the Sidearm Reserves mod has now been re-enabled. But for armor, they fixed a problem where the Icefall Mantle could be activated immediately after Glacial Guard fell off the Titan. And then with abilities, an issue where the Shadow Shot and Silence and Squall supers were not in the correct passive cooldown tiers, an issue where Shadow Dive was costing a melee charge on successfully shattering a stasis crystal with the landed detonation, and a problem where Frontal Assault was activating when the player attacked dead objects with a charged melee. But finally, for bounties and pursuits, they fixed a problem where the weekly Star Horse bounties could only be completed on 1 character, and another issue that stopped players acquiring the Magnum Opus 2 quest from Xur even after meeting the correct conditions. But there are a few other fixes and changes in that list as well, so if you want to check out the full patch notes, I will link it down below. Another mention is that on Tuesday we got a new Witch Queen trailer, and alongside this, Bungie posted to their press kit with some screenshots of the destination, Savathun's throne world. So we got a better look at the new destination, but on their press page they also posted a bit of text which reads, "Happening in Destiny 2 right now. For Season of the Lost, Destiny's current season is poised for an epic conclusion as the events lead directly into the launch of Witch Queen. Mara Sov, Queen of the Awoken, is close to freeing Savathun." And so a bit of a tease right there to the exorcism phase of the story this season. Of course, we're still waiting for that, but it has been presented in the story already, and from what we know, it looks like it'll be a quest or mission when it drops, but precisely when that will be isn't clear. Although since it has some rewards and is part of wrapping up the season, it will likely happen with at least a couple of weeks to spare before Witch Queen. And one of the rewards which we know will come from this is the Centerfire ship, which will drop from a triumph called Exorcist's Revenge, earned by completing that end of season narrative piece. And so there are a few things to look forward to there guys, and I'll be sure to keep you posted with any additional details once we get them. Next though, let's round up a few additional things. And players have been asking, will the 30th anniversary content stick around only until Witch Queen? Or will it be in the game until next December? And Joe Blackburn, the game director, said that it isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And of course, Bungie recently updated the Destiny Content Vault guide for Year 5, and none of the 30th anniversary content is listed as being removed. So as far as we know, all of the activities, rewards, quests, and the treasure hoard are all going to be sticking around. And in terms of that Content Vault update, it highlighted the key things that are going away really, including Tangled Shore, but also the Helm wings for the Elixni and Awoken, and that will also include the Elixni Quarter and Morosov's Chambers, and the removal of the Prismatic Recaster. Although it only specified those particular wings and elements of Helm, so it strongly suggests that Helm will see some kind of revamp. But then of course, when February rolls around, seasonal narratives and content from the last year, including Season of the Hunt, Chosen, Splicer, and Lost, will all be taken out of the game. And Bungie confirmed in that listing various exotics and exotic quests that'll be going away, and activity rewards associated with the various activities, including Harbinger, Coup de Grace, and Presage. All of those activities are going away, as well as their drops. And so that's the quick look at it, but if you want the full breakdown, I do have a video, and I'll also link the article down below. But we'll be able to continue playing 30th anniversary content well after Witch Queen launches. Another thing that players have been asking about are Bungie name changes. Originally, when Bungie announced the new naming system, they said that we'd be able to get name changes as of December, but we haven't had any additional details yet, and DMG adds that they don't have info at this time, but they'll let the team know that there's a desire for details on the time frame. And so perhaps we'll see it by the time Witch Queen launches, but by the sounds of it, it's possible that it could be pushed back a little bit further. However, Bungie aim to give us that information at some point in the future. Some other players also pointed out that there are folks trying to sell Destiny NFTs, and DMG confirmed that Bungie aren't involved with any NFT content. And of course, NFTs are basically digital content assets which people can own, of course linked with cryptocurrency, but Bungie have been very clear a few times that they aren't involved with or planning to work with NFTs in the future. But then here, DMG also responded to an interesting thread about legend matchmaking in content in Destiny. And somebody posted, has it been explained anywhere about Bungie's aversion to include matchmaking to activities like Astral and Dares of Eternity on Legendary difficulty? And essentially players said that matchmaking should simply be added, but DMG responded, I personally feel like this could have the opposite effect, and we've seen quite a few players drop off at simple quest steps of completing a few bounties or doing specific strikes. Asking newer players to find specific lost sectors, figure out what mods to wear, and complete them potentially on their own may just end up dissuading them from ever trying a legend activity. And he says, I know there will be a lot of comments noting that the activities feel easy, and says, I agree after thousands of hours in Destiny 2 and knowing the sandbox like the back of your hand. No anti-barrier, fine, we'll just burn things down with Sleeper thanks to particle deconstruction. But the thing is, there's a massive community of players out there who don't know these tricks or don't even have the loot to take on the challenge, and many could become easily frustrated and quit if an activity is taking too long, but others could just walk around shooting things and ignoring objectives. And he points out that there is a mixture of feedback, and points to threads where people will post things like, why don't people cap zones in Iron Banner? Essentially highlighting that lesser experienced players could prove to make certain activities more difficult, which is why they tend to focus on the LFG experience for more complex stuff and team-based stuff. But he adds that they have quite a bit to do to improve the LFG experience. He says, we've seen reports of poor experiences, general abuse, and difficulty staying in fire teams when using LFG tools. And while matchmaking could solve a small bit of that, it still opens up to some poor experiences with locked loadouts and more difficult content. But he says if folks have more feedback on the subject, definitely continue to pass it over, as it never means they won't add matchmaking to endgame activities, and feedback could still influence future tools and things that we have in the game. So it's an interesting conversation, and feel free to give us any thoughts you have about it down below. But for today, guys, that's what we have to round up in this video. So, bit of a mixed bag of content. Once again, the conversation regarding future updates and Witch Queen will start to ramp up over the coming weeks. So definitely get subscribed to the channel so I can keep you posted with everything related to the game. But if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating below really does help us out, guys, as well as any of your thoughts in the comment section. But otherwise, thanks as always for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.